What is going on, guys? It is Wrestlelamia here, back with another video. Join us now as we look at this week's edition of Smackdown, as well as the wildest news stories and rumors you need to know, including more evidence Edge is headed to AEW, Matt Riddle exposed in a video, while some top stars miss the Saudi show, AEW Big on a Veteran Release Superstar, Brie Bella Wrestling return, and much more. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for daily wrestling videos, and follow us on Facebook for exclusive lists. Also check out our new channel, Wrestlelamia Shorts. As always, we won't recount the matches, but just look at the good, the bad, and the downright ugly. As always, we start off with the good as number 1, LA Knight to the rescue. LA Knight saved the day on Smackdown with a magma hot superstar rescuing John Cena from a 2-on-1 bloodline beating and signing his name to the contract for Cena's Fastlane match against Solo Sikoa and Jimmy Uso. This one is going to be good and should lead to even bigger things for LA Knight. Number 2, WWE doesn't forget the OC. Now, it was refreshing to see the OC do something after the Bloodline laid out AJ Styles last week, as they were incensed about the backstage beatdown. Although Anderson didn't last long against Jimmy Uso, it would have been a bad look if the OC didn't respond to an attack. Having Mishin slap the taste out of Jimmy Uso was also a nice touch. Number 3, Grayson Waller always delivers. Although Grayson Waller is a strong in-ring performer, the WWE could have him host the Grayson Waller effect for the rest of his career and they'd get their money's worth. Last night's episode was another hit as Waller helped forward the story of Bobby Lashley's disappointment with the Street Profits. Number 4, Soup Profits are back. Is Bobby Lashley's tough love paying off? The Almighty gave Montez Ford and Angelo Dawkins a dramatic dressing down on the Grayson Waller effect, but it generated results as the Profits made a name for themselves by laying out the Latino World Order after Rey Mysterio's match against Santos Escobar, setting things up for a 6-man tag match at Fastlane. Number 5, Rey vs Santos Spectacular. Speaking of Papa Rey and Santos, the two delivered the goods last night with a fast-paced US Championship defense by Mysterio that could have gone either way. The match was exciting to watch and told a strong story of Rey's experience, giving him the edge to win, but leaving the door open for more rematches. And WWE talks up Jade Cargill. Anyone doubtful about how big of a deal Jade Cargill's WWE signing is should watch last night's Smackdown and listen to Corey Graves' recent episode of his After the Bell podcast. The WWE aired a brief video on the Blue brand about the enormity of Jade's WWE signing while the announcers talked her up. Likewise, Corey Graves praised the signing on his podcast and promised big things ahead. Whilst that was the good, what about the bad? As number 1, where were the matches? Is SmackDown so hard up for talent that it featured less than a handful of bouts? 4 bouts on a 2-hour show is inexcusable, especially when 2 of them are glorified squash matches. Number 2, Ashanti Adonis plays Crash Test Dummy. Hit Rose Ashanti Adonis finally got some TV time, but unfortunately it was to serve as Jimmy Uso's backstage crash test dummy as Jimmy vented his frustrations on Ashanti. Number 3, Charlotte vs Bayley belongs on PLE. A Charlotte vs Bayley shouldn't be a throwaway match, and yet the WWE used it to set up Fastlane's triple threat match between Asuka, Charlotte Flair, and WWE Women's Champion Io Sky, while also renewing the apparent tension in Damage Control. Bayley has shown she's willing to help younger talent by putting them over, but the WWE should have treated a match against the Queen as a bigger deal. Number 4, Cameron Grimes already a jobber? Poor Cameron Grimes, the talented NXT superstar, should be doing more than just counting the lights on SmackDown. Grimes vanished from NXT with rumors circulating the WWE was waiting for the right storyline before it promoted him to the main roster. However, it's obvious that WWE spent little or no time to this and they're clueless as to how to use them. Now, there's nothing downright ugly, but sadly, SmackDown seemed to feel like it could coast off a strong LA Knight segment and an action-packed match between Rey and Santos, when the reality is it failed. The WWE needs to invest more time in booking SmackDown, even though WWE just signed a huge TV rights deal with the USA Network. What did you guys think of SmackDown last night? Let us know in the comments down below. Now let's move on to the news. Now, first story looks at more evidence Edge is headed to AEW. At top of today's news is a series of signs suggesting Edge is AEW bound. As previously reported, the Rated R superstar was taken off the WWE's internal roster, and now he's no longer on SmackDown's intro video. In addition, Tony Khan promised that Wrestle Dream marks a new era for AEW. Could this mean the arrival of Adam Edge Copeland? Next up, Matt Riddle exposed in a video. And more details have emerged on Matt Riddle's 9th September alleged disruptive behavior at New York City's JFK Airport. TMZ Sports recently released a video of a recently released WWE superstar interacting with the public and also provided details on what reportedly took place. A witness tells us their flight to Orlando was postponed multiple times, so Riddle and his friend waited it out by enjoying drinks at a nearby restaurant. The witness says Riddle was becoming incredibly obnoxious throughout the delay, being extremely loud and rude. The TMZ Sports story adds much needed information on what happened to cause airport security officers to get involved. The report added, once it was almost time to board, the witnesses noticed Riddle walking around yelling and asking when the plane would take off, before going up to the gate's front desk and grabbing the mic. Although Riddle is used to cutting promos, anyone who's been at the airport knows this type of behavior is frowned upon, and Riddle is fortunate he wasn't arrested. Nonetheless, his actions did have consequences. In the video, Riddle, who was holding a drink, is heard asking fellow passengers if they're capable of flying the plane. It's in a playful manner, but the staffers were quick to put an end to it. The passengers eventually got on the plane except Riddle, who was denied entry due to his state. Riddle's condition appears to be what wrestlers often refer as in no condition to perform, where intoxication makes it unsafe for them to compete, not only because of the risks they present to themselves, but to their opponents. Do you think Riddle should have got arrested for his actions at the airport? Let us know in the comments down below. Next up, Smackdown features two big dark matches. Smackdown gave fans attending the 29th September episode a real treat after the show went off the air, with John Cena battling Dominic Mysterio and Seth Rollins throwing down with Gunther. Cena defeated Dominic while Seth won via DQ. Seth also sent a shout out to the late great Brie Wyatt when the fans lit up the arena with their cell phones Firefly-like style. Next up, Jade Cargill debut imminent. When will Jade Cargill debut on WWE TV and where? That's a question fans are asking following last week's announcement that Cargill had signed with the WWE. Now recent developments have had Cargill fans thinking it could be soon. Not only did Shawn Michaels talk up Jade during his NXT No Mercy media call, but Corey Graves name dropped her on SmackDown. In addition, Dave Meltzer is reporting the fact that they already pushed it would indicate her debut would be reasonably soon. Because her contract expired, there's no non-compete period. The announcement was that Cargill, 31, signed a multi-year deal with the WWE, means usually a period of 3 to 5 years. She's currently training at the PC to get ready for her debut. One would think that there's ready-made angle for her to show up and body slam Jax. The WWE's recent push of Nia Jax as a monster makes her an ideal opponent for Cargill because Jade can defeat her without the WWE having to put Cargill over any established superstars right from the start. Next up, will some top stars miss a Saudi show? WWE Saudi Arabia Super Shows are known for being star-studded events, but the upcoming 4th November Crown Jewel PLE may not have as many top names as fans might expect. Dave Meltzer recently reported in this week's Observer that a schedule note is that they are running SmackDown and house shows in the US on the weekend of the Saudi Arabia show on 4th November, but not a SmackDown taping. It looks like they'll be doing 2 SmackDowns in Milwaukee, but that some top talent won't be going to Saudi Arabia, as in the past they have not run house shows on the weekend of the Saudi show. This is interesting due to it being a policy change. The reality is that WWE has also much talent that it can easily run a top show in Saudi Arabia, as well as live events in the US. The only thing that might disrupt this plan would be a COVID outbreak. Next up, AEW Big on a veteran WWE Superstar. As the wrestling world waits to see whether Edge will debut in AEW, another veteran's name is apparently being discussed as a good fit for the company. Fightful Select Sean Ross Sapp recently tweeted, Fightful Select sources have confirmed that there were actually several within AEW pushing internally for Shelton Benjamin earlier this year when there was some confusion regarding his contract status. Benjamin's experience and knowledge makes him an ideal candidate as a coach depending on AEW's needs, and while the company has more wrestlers than it knows what to do with, the Gold Standard would likely make a great mentor for young talent. Should they hire the Gold Standard? Let us know in the comments down below. And finally, Brie Bella making a wrestling return? And last but not least, Brie Bella fans take note as one half of the Twin Magic recently answered a fan's question about whether she intends to return to wrestling. I will, waiting for Buddy to grow a little bit more. The great thing is that there's so many companies with great opponents. I'd love to see Saraya again, Britt Baker, I'd love to go wrestle Trin. Can't wait to see her and Mikey in action. First on my list is the Iconics. Wrestle them in Australia would be amazing. Would you guys like to see Brie return to wrestling? Let us know in the comments down below, and I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.